Today we're going to talk about a research study done by Stoeber from the University of Kent in Canterbury, UK. Basically the study looked at the link between perfectionism and mental health. Typically when you hear someone talk about perfectionism, they're normally meaning that it's a negative characteristic and has a bad impact on mental health. But this study actually kind of disproved that in a way and showed that all in all, perfectionism may not necessarily be harmful as far as mental health. In order to look at this link between perfectionism and mental health, we have to break down perfectionism into two different aspects. There's perfectionist strivings, which basically mean that the person is looking at things and always wanting to do the right thing. They are focused on doing well at the said discipline that they're participating in. Perfectionist concerns are the complete opposite. The person actually focuses on not doing anything wrong. They're always worried about, making a mistake or an error of some sort. Now, this study showed that the second type, the perfectionist concerns, are actually the real problem, and that perfectionist strivings are really not that bad. Now, as far as the link for perfectionism and mental health, there's actually a figure where we can basically diagnose where on the spectrum people fall, whether it's healthy or unhealthy. Now, as far as perfectionism's role on anxiety, the study had shown that when it comes to perfectionist strivings, the athletes actually had lower anxiety if they were looking at things from a perfectionist striving sort of way. Where when they look at it from perfectionist concerns, they actually had higher anxiety. So that goes to show that perfectionist concerns really are a problem, and perfectionist strivings are actually good for sport in some instances. Now, as far as motivation, similar facts were found where people with perfectionist strivings were actually able to be focused on having success, where people with perfectionist concerns were focused on failure. When motivating an athlete, you never want them to be focused on failure. The motivational model shows us that. So it's very important, again, to realize that perfectionist strivings are good in this sense. So as far as coaches and athletes, what can we kind of take from this study? I think it's very important to realize a lot of it goes with how we're coaching these athletes. Basically, if you were to have an athlete focus on doing the right thing, trying to excel at sport or at a single discipline in sport, you could very well motivate them to do well by using perfectionism. And it is an internal thing. A person internally feels these type of things, but the climate that the coaches put out there can determine this. So if a coach actually says, oh, don't screw up, that's going to kind of incubate perfectionist concerns, which the study has shown to be negative. So it is, again, very important that the coaches build the athlete up and focus on making sure that we focus on doing well rather than worrying about failure. In conclusion, again, people have always believed perfectionism to be a negative aspect when it really isn't the case. This study has shown. Although it should be noted that the long-term effects of either type of perfectionism have not really been studied. So that is something to keep in mind. But on a short term, shooting for perfection in a perfectionist striving sort of way can be a good thing for an athlete.